And I get why a lot of people are jaded. I think there's a lot of hype around AI, but why I like this company is they're solving a problem that you can't solve otherwise. Like, there's actually no way for any other way to actually ingest 70,000 medical journals and figure out what are the commonalities. And you'd be surprised, like, humanity hasn't changed for like hundreds of thousands of years. Um, and all this knowledge was actually hidden in these journals, and just no one had taken the time to kind of put it all together.
Welcome to the Oxygen Podcast. Over the next 20 minutes, dive into the world of business with tips, tricks, and success stories straight from the trenches. Our guests bring real world advice and tools that serve as their oxygen on their journey. Get ready for a breath of fresh air on this episode of the Oxygen Podcast.
Hi, Oxygen. All right. I am super excited about this conversation because I get to tell you we're going to have this conversation all the way across the pond, and I'm bringing you two sides of the world today to come together and have this chat. So all the way from Australia and 2 different days in one. Today, I am bringing with you Saurabh Jain, and he is going to talk to us all about tech and all of the extra things that are mind blowing to us. I'm so excited to nerd out and talk about some of these. Saurabh, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Oxygen Podcast.
Great. Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so let's dive right in because I feel like I could talk to you about tech and all the things that you bring to the table for hours, and we only have 35 minutes. So tell my audience a little bit about you and what you do for a living and all the great things about you.
Yeah, totally. Hi from Australia. I know we talk a bit funny and we talk a bit quick, so I'll try to talk slowly. So a bit about me. I'm a tech guy by trade, a software engineer. Did a startup when I was young, did 10 years of sales and marketing, did 10 years more in management, and then got my dream job as CEO of a publicly listed tech business. So I was there for about 5 years, CEO for three, and kind of went from about 20 mil to about $100 million business when I ended up exiting. Um, that was for about 2 years ago. So what I do now is I'm on about 7 company boards. So I'm kind of being like the mentor for the CEO. Some a bit more hands-on, some a bit more hands-off. I'm the interim CEO for a tech business, an AI medtech business, which is doing some super cool, super exciting stuff in the AI space. And besides that, I'm a meditator. That's my thing. So probably I spend more time doing that than most anything these days. And I'm trying super duper hard to get good at it.
I
So
love
they're
that.
like the 3 aspects of my life. Yeah.
Well, AI and meditation. So this is gonna get good really, really fast. So, all right, awesome. So let's talk about AI, and then because I want to leave plenty of time to talk about the meditation component
Yeah.
here for a little while. Um, Talk to me about AI and how you got into that, what that looks like. I
Yeah.
mean, I have questions, but I want to hear your spin on it before I get jaded.
Oh, totally. Look, I mean, it's something I've always been interested in. So back in like 2000, when I was doing my software engineering undergrad, I actually did my thesis in AI. Back then, it was called machine learning and neural networks, and it was the super early days. And it was like my thesis was like 100,000 lines of Java code because that's what people had to do back in the day.
Oh my God.
It took kind of 6 months, and it was a fantastic kind of project. But that's when it was like super duper early, and the tech didn't quite exist. And obviously, it's grown a lot, especially over the last kind of year or so. Um, so the problem we're trying to solve at Trial Keys, that's the company on the interim CEO, public listed, ticker code OPL on the Australian Stock Exchange. The problem we're trying to solve is more in the med tech space. So basically, what the founder, the CTO, has done over about 3 years, he's got about 70,000 clinical trials. He's sucked up all the data from those trials, about 700 variables per trial, put it into a machine learning algorithm. Now we can actually predict the outcome of a clinical trial with about 90% accuracy before it even starts. Like, it is
Wow.
absolutely insane tech. I mean, it took 3 years, and we've raised $25 million to get there, and we've only just launched our product last month, and we've just taken it to market. Look, it's very early for us. Like, we don't even have a way for people to pay, so it's free right now. Anyone can kind of use it, and the next
Right.
couple of months we'll figure out how to kind of monetize it. But the reason, and I get why a lot of people are jaded, and I think there's a lot of hype around AI, but why I like this company is they're solving a problem that you can't solve otherwise. Like, there's actually no way for any other way to actually ingest 70,000 medical journals and figure out what are the commonalities. And you'd be surprised, like, humanity hasn't changed for like hundreds of thousands of years. Um, and all this knowledge was actually hidden in these journals, and just no one had taken the time to kind of put it all together. So then if you think about, oh, gone.
Well, so that is probably the best description that I have ever heard someone use to explain AI. And as I was prepping for this call
Mm,
today, I was just kind of think I wrote in a book a few years ago, and one of the things that I had made comment to was the fact that the our youth coming up behind us, future
mm,
generations, whatnot, the problems that they have to solve are so much greater than even our generation or those before us. And the need for them to solve those problems means they need bigger tools. It
mm.
feels like such a big deal. And, like, I'm going to ask you an ethics question here in a minute. And it feels like such a, like, how is that even possible that AI, like, is it going to rule our world? But the reality is that the next generation has bigger problems, so they need bigger tools. And the way you describe that is so easy to comprehend. Like, how would you possibly process 90,000 medical journals?
Mm.
But that's because they exist. Now we need to process them.
Totally. And I think there's a subtlety in what you've said. I don't think the problems are bigger the next generation needs to solve. What I think is we've got the ability to solve bigger problems. And
Mm,
because you can solve bigger problems, you'll just naturally will. I don't know, if you go back 100 years ago, right, to be able to have two pairs of shirts was an absolute luxury because you had to kind of hand stitch them. Um, and now I'll wear two shirts in a single day, right? And everyone will
right.
have 30 shirts because there are just more things out there. So because we've got more tools, more capabilities, we've kind of, standing on the shoulders of giants, we can just do more. So you can solve problems that were completely unsolvable before.
Wow, that's crazy insightful. See, I told you this was going to
Mm.
be an awesome
Oh,
conversation.
totally.
All right, so one of the things that I hear, and I think that this goes outside of even medical, but it probably very an easy jab, we'll say, no pun intended,
Mm.
at medical, is the ethical component to AI. And I think that as I hear you say, 70,000 trials, and we know the outcome before it even comes out. How is that ethical when you start to present, you know, uh, no human element? Like, what is your argument or your response to that when we start talking about the ethics of AI?
Yeah, look, it's a hard one, right? Because on one level, like you don't want to stifle innovation, and it's always going to kind of happen anyway, whether we control it, whether we don't control it. People are going to push forward. So you want to kind of do it as safely as you can as you kind of go on that journey. So the kind of things that we think about is, if we have patient data, which we tend not to, how do you kind of hold that super securely? How do you make that anonymous? Um,
Mm,
but what you'll probably find, and I don't know if this is an ethical issue, but it will be an issue, is money will go to the best trials. Money
mm,
will go to the trials that are going to solve the biggest problems. So it does actually mean there's going to be a tail of patients that would otherwise have gotten medical treatment that probably won't. But the theory is humanity in totality will probably get more. So there will be a change in capital allocation. So I'll give you an example. So one of the potential customers, and we're not totally sure yet, is the investment community. To actually tell them, whether a trial will succeed before or not the actual outcome of the trial. So right now it's just me and the CTO investing in stocks, and we're up 50% this month. Just because we know with 90% accuracy whether a trial will succeed or not.
yeah.
Um, which is kind of super cool. But the good human element to that is then money will go to the trials that are most likely to succeed. So there will be a capital allocation change that occurs. And then you might say, oh, look, there's an ethical issue. Some patients won't get the money, some trials won't happen. But in totality, I think it's better.
I feel like the horse racing world is going to need you. They're going to.
It is
How do you harness
funny
that
you
one?
say that. Funny you say
Oh,
that. So the CTO, where he cut his teeth was a sports betting business.
oh
Where
my gosh.
I kid you not, yeah. And so he would get like, hundreds of variables about sports teams and matches and try to figure out what leads to success and make predictions. And he ran that for a number of years, did super well until a lot of that just got priced into the market, or he was moving the market too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting when, like as I listen to you talk, and
Mm,
that's the first place that my mind went. It really is about finding optimal rate. Like we do that for optimal rate of pay here, but it's
mm.
it's a war of numbers. Like I think if you took every kid who hated math in school and you gave them some of these examples, maybe they wouldn't hate math quite as much, right?
Oh,
It's
totally.
the cool side of finding that optimal point. And I think that I read on the website that you guys are transforming the global clinical trial landscape by predicting outcomes with better accuracy with reduced cost and time. And I think even when we're
Mm,
thinking about a loved one who is sick getting a trial, I very often hear someone say, well, but if it helps someone else. And I think
mm.
the part that resonated with me was the reduced time. And when
Yeah.
you're sick, the thing you want is that reduced time, and it's just that efficiency thing. And efficiency is
Oh,
like
totally.
I love it, right?
Oh, totally.
So
Because
go
the kind
ahead.
of things you can do is like we'll tell you the optimal number of patients that you need. So a standard trial might have 500, but we'll tell you if you actually had 475 to be the same outcome. If you get 623, you'll have a 7% more chance of success. So really optimize the trial to get the best possible outcome. The other thing that we've thought about, and we'll probably make this free because it's like good for the world, is just to give patients and carers free access to this tool. So that if you have a loved one that's sick and you want to look for oncology, what trials exist in the world, what are open recruiting in my area, and then what's the one most likely going to succeed? Because that's probably going to be the one that you going to want to try to get on.
Wow. As I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm working very hard to stay present in this conversation because my brain is like moving a million miles
Mm,
an hour. Like all the things that we choose to put into an AI platform, right? Like sometimes, I'll ask it a question for prompts, but if AI
mm,
can really get it to be that optimal, are we really using it to its best capabilities, really, when it comes to anything for our business,
mm.
our own, our finances, our anything? Like I think it's just such AI as a whole has so much potential.
Oh, totally. Like it's gonna transform probably every part of our lives if it hasn't already, and it will do it quick. I reckon it's like a sub 5 year transformation. It's not like the internet on mobile phones, which took 20 years. It'll be like 4 or 5 years.
Wow, that's crazy. All right,
Hmm.
so let's talk about the kind of the trajectory of where things go. Because one of the things that I've noticed while we
Hmm.
talk is kind of like the landscape of your thoughts. I can tell you are a very contemplative human, and just the way you
Hmm.
process thoughts is amazing to me. For people who work with me, they're probably like, oh, yeah, Kat's eating us up. So, talk to me a little bit about your meditation practice and just
Hmm.
how did you come to it, and what does it look like in your day to day life?
Totally. So I came to it by accident 20 years ago. I was working. I'm Indian. Like we're supposed to be good at meditating. It's supposed to be our thing. I Googled online meditation courses, Blue Mountains. That's like the mountainy area just outside Sydney. And I found one, and it was free. And I signed up for a 10-day course. So this is one of those silent ones where you don't talk, you don't read, you don't write for 10 days. It was the most horrible, hardest experience of my entire life. I don't know why I went a second time. But I did. And then I went another time. So last year I did about 100 days of kind of silent meditation. So like two 45-day courses and a short 10-day one in the middle.
Okay.
And I'll do my 2 hours a day. So I've done my 10,000 hours and I'm
Wow.
adding on about 1,500 hours per year right now.
Okay.
And I'm trying so hard to get good at this because like I haven't found something on a mental level that I've not been able to conquer before. And I so know
Mm.
this is conquerable. And I kind of find it helps. It kind of makes me happier and more productive in life.
Why do you think it's hard?
It's so you know how you kind of said that you're finding it hard to stay present because your mind went elsewhere?
Hmm.
That's just the way we are. And by the way, you totally don't have to be like that. Um, so concentration is a word that non-meditators use because it's actually not completely accurate. The word I prefer to use, it allows you to unify the mind.
Mm.
Subtle difference, but there is a difference. It allows you to focus your entire mind on a single object. And just the way we have phones, where we have notifications, and the way, you'll have like a 3 second attention span of like a goldfish. Like we're just
Goldfish,
trained.
yes.
yeah, we're just trained to actually be the other way. And so it's just against the grain.
Yeah. It's very interesting to me that when you start to become aware of the things that you miss, right?
Mm.
Like the attention of a goldfish. When somebody told me, by the way, the normal person post social media has the attention span less than a goldfish, I was like, wait, what? That's crazy to me.
Mm.
And then you start to realize the things that you miss. So you're not necessarily beginning to realize the things that you want to see, but you are starting to realize the things that you miss. And then as you start to pay attention, remain present, start to eliminate distractions, then
Mm.
start to really focus and be aware, it is it's a big shift. It's almost kind of scary that you realize it took you that long to realize.
Totally. And it's like a superpower. I mean, I think that's why I'm so productive at work is because I've actually got the mind space to think about these kind of things. Think, hey, we have this data thing, we've been building it for 3 years. Now, how do we commercialize it? How do we take it to the market? What problem are we going to solve? How do we kind of make sure we make money out of this for the shareholders?
Yeah.
When if you're kind of, and they're actually deep and complex problems that take, hours of cognitive load or days of cognitive load. And if you only have a couple of seconds at a time, a couple of minutes at a time, you just don't get to the depth of it. You just can't. It's just too
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. What kind of change has it made in your leadership style?
So one thing that I've found is if a leader is stuck in their own mind, they can't get into the mind of someone else.
Hmm.
Like when your mind is noisy, right? You can't take the moment to realize, okay, now that's what that person is saying, but that's why they're saying, and that's why they're thinking, and that's what the facial expressions are saying, and no, that they're actually lying to me, but they're telling me what I want to hear. Like there's all these things that you actually have the cognitive space to think about because you're
Yeah.
not busy reliving the argument you had yesterday. Um, so it actually lets you be a lot more present for those conversations. It lets you understand people just at a deeper level.
Yeah.
And it allows you to just kind of connect better with people, get more intrinsically motivated, get them more bought into the vision, and it just gives you more mental horsepower.
Yeah.
I mean, the analogy will be like if I went to the gym, 1,500 hours last year, right, like 6 hours a day. If that was my thing, I'd be like an absolute Olympian, which I didn't, and that's why I'm not. But you just do that on the mental version, and you can just process complex thoughts better. You can just work harder. You get to the root of the problems a lot better.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, I mean, it wasn't obvious that the company I work for now, Trialkey, was actually going to be able to succeed and do this and launch a product. But it just took a lot of super hard thinking with me and the CTO to figure this out and kind of lock ourselves away from like the day to day and actually get to the depth of it. And some people are just naturally gifted like that. Unfortunately, I wasn't, so I kind of had to build it. But even if you are naturally gifted, you can kind of supercharge it by just a bit of focus.
Yeah, it's interesting listening to you talk. I often call a client, early in the morning and I'm like, "Hey, by the way, I was thinking about you while I was in the shower this morning," which feels really weird when you say that to somebody. But there's a
Mm.
lot of, I talk about running water as a very meditative
Yeah.
concept. And
Mhm. Yep.
for me, running water is a very good thing. Like if you ever see me standing at the sink washing my hands for a very long time, my daughter is the same way. It's a very relaxing concept. And all of a sudden, boom, we've got new ideas happen if I wash my hands for a long time. And
Mm.
it's kind of a long-standing joke with my clients. Hey, I was thinking about you in the shower this morning. But
Mm.
it's the space that I allow to go in places where I wasn't thinking in the middle of the day, in the middle of your coaching call with 100
Yeah.
other things going through my mind, or the previous call and the next call and the dog barking and all the things, right?
Yep.
And I'm usually pretty multitasking, but it's gotten
Mm.
to be a little bit of a joke. And I think that is the description, right? Oh, extra space in my brain. That free forming thought. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily give themselves credit for almost, I don't know, by accident meditation, but it
Oh,
really is a
totally.
thing that you
Yeah.
need. Your brain needs space to think. Same thing for exercising, the
Mm.
adrenaline, serotonin that your brain needs, things like that.
And I'll tell you why you probably find like running water or having a shower, those kind of things, a good thinking space. So the way it works is there's a real pleasure in the cessation of thought. So just when the mind stops talking to you, right, there's a real pleasure in actually achieving that. And
Okay.
sometimes by having like a low grade sound that you're not really focused on actually gives you that. So what probably
Yeah.
happens is your mind stops talking because you're busy doing something, and then it gives you the space to go process something that's kind of been waiting in queue to be processed. And then it just kind of happens, and then it kind of pops up into your conscious mind. You're like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. But I just needed that quiet 20 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 seconds to actually to let it pop up. Because actually what happens is it actually pops up all the time. But if you're busy talking or doing something, you actually miss it. You don't consciously
Okay.
become aware of it.
Well, I like that. Please don't say
Hmm.
that where my children can listen, because then they're going to hear you say, "Mom should stop talking quite as often." But that's really interesting. For people who
Hmm.
have racing thoughts, that's really interesting. That's a What else would you suggest for people who have lots of things that, like, business owners who have a lot on their plate, and what other tips do you have for them?
I mean, the biggest thing that I've done recently is I've got three EAs now. So I kind of outsource a lot of the task work. So now I kind of go in my day from task to task that I'm super good at. And I've been able to delegate offshore to three fantastic EAs that do a lot of the actual kind of grunt work for me. But what that's allowed me to do is just get less busy.
Mm.
Um, it's good not to go from meeting to meeting to meeting, which ironically, that's actually how we think we're useful. We think we're
Yeah.
useful because I've got, oh my God, I've got a full day back to back for 8 hours. But that's actually kind of sad. Um, but for some reason, we think that's important because then people are talking to us and it's super important, and everyone's kind of listening to what I say. So the advice I'd give is delegate out and just create yourself the free time or the free space. It might be for 5 minutes, it might be for an hour, whatever you can fit in. And that will kind of give you the time to think about what do I actually want to do? Am I kind of I mean, the analogy I often use is often we're like a dog chasing a stick. And we don't get time to think about like who's actually throwing that stick. Are we actually chasing the right stick? Should we be doing something else? Um, and the other advice I'd give as well is it kind of sounds very flippant, but you got to get yourself right first.
Mm.
Um, like if you're not emotionally stable, present, if you're messaging someone while you're trying to interview someone for a job, if you're on your phone playing around or Instagramming or scrolling, like that's the message that you actually send out to people. Like that's kind of okay.
Okay.
If you say you're going to do something and then don't do it, well, that's a message that you send out. If you lie about something and your team catches you, that's the message that you send out. So whatever behavior you portray to others, that's what they'll portray back to you. I mean, I'm sure you see this in companies, like even like whatever clothes the CEO wears, whatever type of shirts he wears, like that's what people start to wear. Like
Yeah.
you just have this impact on other people, and you want to be super aware of it, and then you want to be super conscious of what it is that you choose to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it be your own best student, right?
Mm,
Whatever you are and you are putting out, are you willing to be your own student and practice what you preach, but be your own best student? And I think that there's a lot of people who can't truly say that they are that thing, or that they would follow
mm.
their own advice. So I think that that's really great. I don't Do you think that that's the one thing you wish you would have known when you started out on your own executive journey?
Well, I think it would have been that. It would have been to figure out like what is my thing, right? Like what am I better at than anyone else in the world, and then just do
Mm.
that,
Yeah,
and don't waste
yeah,
your time with all the other crap that happens.
yeah,
That's one thing that I would have done, and the other thing I would have done is if I think about, so I'm on 7 company boards. So you end up chatting to a lot of CEOs, a lot of exec teams, and the ones that I see do really well are the ones that have pairings. Like it's two
mm,
founders. It's a tech guy and it's a commercial guy, or someone who
yeah,
knows a domain really well and a really really commercial savvy, financially focused person. Um, I wish I'd done that in my first startup, but which did well, was kind of okay. But I wish I had someone else with me just to kind of round me out because
yeah.
it's hard to have all those competencies as one person, but with two or three or four, you can totally put that team together.
Yeah, the percentage of people who can do visionary integrator combo as one person is
It's
very,
almost no
very
one.
rare. Yeah,
I'm
and
yet to meet anyone. Yeah.
yeah, even I struggle to do it, and I have a
Mm.
fantastic right hand. Like it takes that, like you said, like you've got an amazing couple of EAs that are just eating it up for you, right? Like it
Mm.
always takes on some level. there's, a spouse that's slaying it for you, or there's
Mm,
an assistant that's really great, or, somebody. So yeah,
totally.
I love this saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that
Exactly.
it really pertains to business. And it's really, I think it's a check and balance almost, right? For those of us who your
Mm.
ego starts to get in the way, or you get tired, or, it's not about money. It's about your emotional health and your emotional intelligence, and that ladder to growth more than anything, I think, is what we see in businesses that really go far.
And I think that check and balance is a good one. So probably 10 years ago, I got my first major exec role, Cushman Wakefield, CIO, did tech across 50 countries, huge team everywhere. I had dinner with some of the team in Melbourne. My wife came along as well. And she said to me afterwards, like, what's wrong with these guys? Sorry, you're actually not that funny. And it took me a moment, but I was like, you're actually kind of right. Like these guys are laughing at my jokes, but actually aren't that funny. And you get stuck in this echo chamber.
Mm,
It can be an echo chamber of positivity or negativity or something else. And sometimes you just need someone else to kind of snap you out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's why we enter the picture very often, to be honest. So
Mm.
lovingly, the 6 foot mouthy blonde. All right, so let me ask you this. What we ask a lot of executives, what do you need next? Knowing, naming, what is something that you need in your career path, your business, your, whatever. What is the thing that you need next, rather than a big long list? Do you know one thing?
Yeah, so if I look back, I mean, historically, my competencies have been about like how do you become a CEO and how do you do that really well. And I kind of think so I did my real one. I did an interim one last year for a consumer electronics business. I'm doing this interim one for 3 to 6 months, and like I have that. I understand that to some degree, but now what I'm trying to understand is like how businesses run. What is the common melody across these 7 companies I'm involved in? What are the common melodies that actually make them succeed, make them not succeed, and what is it about the CEO, him or her, that actually makes them work? And how do you pick the ones which they're going to do fantastic or not? Um, so I think I know the answer, but I'd love to get your view because I mean I turned down about 5 board roles last year because I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't really like you. You're not going to like me. Let's just break up now before we even start. Um, and I've been thinking about why, and I think what it is, it's finding a CEO that's coachable. Because if they start the conversation already knowing they have the right answer, they actually don't want and or don't need anyone else around them. And it's kind of up to chance whether they'll succeed or not. Because that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Because next month I'm going to be recruiting my replacement here at Trockey. And then I'll step
Yes.
onto the board, if we're all still friends. So I've got to make sure that I place like a fantastic rockstar CEO that can take over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think that I made a mention earlier about emotional intelligence, and I think that there's a lot of people who think that they are emotionally intelligent. And the
Mm.
first person who says, I'm emotionally intelligent, is like the red flag
Probably not.
for no, you're not.
Yeah.
um, but I actually think that the answer to, if you asked me the question that you just
Mm.
asked, I
Yeah.
would say it would be an embracement of failure.
Mm.
Because a lot of people, depending on the time in their life or the subject, can come in and out of being coachable.
Yeah.
And so a person very rarely is across the board coachable. Like maybe they're not
Mm.
coachable in their marriage and they're not coachable in their finances, but they're incredibly coachable at work. Or they're
Yeah.
not coachable in parenting and they're not coachable on the football field, but they're incredibly coachable in their marriage, right? Like it just kind of
Mm.
depends on where. But if someone is willing to embrace failure, then you know that they've gone down the path far enough that they make decisions correctly, they embrace failure, and they rebound well. And I think when we look for someone to lead a team at an executive level, I'm always looking for someone who's decisive, can rebound, and can lead with that thought process. Because I don't
How do you
always want you to win.
how do you evidence embracing failure? Like, what kind of qualities does one look for?
Yeah, so in my are you turning
Mm.
this interview around on me, Saurabh?
Totally, totally. I take control of every
I know
situation.
this is very good. Um, now I'm laughing. So to me, that's about telling me about the times you failed
Mm.
and getting to tell me a little bit about how you were affected by it. What did it look like
Yeah.
afterwards? You know, what made you make the decision that you thought was right that then turned into failure? Like
Mm.
I always poke fun at my ex-husband. Like I thought it was a good decision. I got
Yeah.
two beautiful kids out of it. Yeah, it failed. Here you go. Right. This is what I got out of it. Will I make that
Mm.
decision again? Probably not. Right. So, and that's a funny, easy one for me to kid at 10, 15 years
Yeah.
later. But then I've also made decisions in business that, we've tripped over in the development of Bliss. We tripped over a couple of big things, but now we've got Bliss where, it literally comes into organizations and has ripple effects in small communities. So
Mm.
there's always truth in the story behind
Yeah.
an executive who can tell you, oh, yeah, I failed. Oh, and I can tell you exactly how, and I can tell you exactly where and when, and this is what I did, and whatever.
Mm.
Um, and I also think that there's some remorse in failure, because
Yeah.
I think in companies that are your size or what you are recruiting
Mm.
for, failure usually means someone's job.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
It's real.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think I coach another organization with some upcoming leaders within it.
Mm.
And one of the leaders had to do their first termination. And he called me. He's like, I took someone's job. And I said, listen, the day that it no longer affects you that you took someone's job, you should no longer be a leader. And so I
Mm.
think when you can really start to see that sentiment come out, then you've got a good hire.
Yeah.
My experience.
Okay. No, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got that interview process probably next month. We'll get started. So I have to find the right person, have a peaceful transition of power, and then get very hands off on the business.
Well, now you've got me invested. Now I'm going to need a follow up. So I'm going to
Oh,
expect
totally,
some details.
totally,
Well,
totally.
thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I enjoy
Hmm.
situations like that. All right. Well, so tell
Hmm.
everybody how they can connect with you. Obviously, you guys are traded on the open market. We'll go ahead and put your codes on there so everybody can
Yeah,
follow along and see all of this.
totally.
You've got a free trial on your website. So I'll link all of
Hmm.
that in the show notes for the podcast. But tell everybody how they can connect with you and follow you on all of your journeys.
Oh, totally. Easiest way is LinkedIn, Saurabh Jain, or just through the Trial Key website, you'll find my contact details there as well.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for
Absolutely. Same
joining
here. Thank
us.
you.
And I will watch for the follow up. I can't wait to hear more. All
Sounds
right. We
good.
tell everybody to take just a little bit of time to breathe life in. We'll see everybody next time.